You have to understand that if it's just you and your business, you have limited growth opportunities. And not only that, you can only grow your business so far due to one, your capabilities, and also due to the amount of revenue you can actually generate as a single person. Which is why when you look at major businesses, production companies, whoever, all over the world, they're not successful by just one person, they're successful by a whole team of people. And that brings with it a load of challenges as well, such as needing to let go of parts of your businesses and let people make decisions within your business in order for it to grow bigger than just you. If it is just you and your business at the moment and you want to create something bigger than you and you don't want there to be a limit to how much your business can grow, then you're going to need to employ someone. Over the years, we've made some good employment decisions and we've also made some pretty bad ones. So I'm going to talk you through our process and how do you actually know when it's the right time to bring someone into your business. A huge misconception that people have and something that holds them back is thinking that if they're gonna hire someone for $30,000, $40,000 or however much it is, they need to have that much money in their bank account. But you're forgetting that you need to split it up over what is that monthly allowance like. So you don't need to have $40,000 in your bank account in order to bring someone on board. You just need to have enough for that, the next few months. Of course, the bigger buffer you have within business, the much easier that decision is going to be. But hopefully that person will allow you to either carry on bringing on sales into the business or they're going to generate sales themselves. And I'm going to talk about who would be the ideal first person that you should employ in your business. And to any freelance filmmaker, I generally say bring in another filmer and editor because you started filmmaking because you love the creative side. So it's only fair that you carry on that enjoyment, because if you take yourself away from that creative side and just revolve solely around sales and you bring someone else in to do all the fun stuff, you're probably going to start to not enjoy business as much because it's always going to have its ups and downs and your job's going to have changed so much as a result of that. So my first employee was another filmer and editor, and he started with us probably about 6 or 7 years ago now. And when he started, we were both working out of our garage, or my garage, and we started off at that very kind of similar stage, and together we kind of grew in terms of our ability, and then also kind of how the job and business grew from that point onwards. And the advantage of having two of us who were able to do the same thing meant that we could always fit in work. We could be working on two separate projects on the same day. I could go out and film a project and he could edit it, the same vice versa, and we just played to each other's strengths. But that was a problem when we decided to hire a third person, because what we hadn't realized is that our business had no structure. So when we hired someone and there was two of us just doing exactly the same thing, basically running two freelance businesses under the same roof to that effect, when we brought in a third person, it just didn't seem to work. And that's where structure became so important to growing our business. And that's why now having defined roles, and that's something that I teach to Academy members, is to define exactly what it is that you enjoy doing and what you're not good at. And when you understand that, bring someone in to do the jobs that you don't enjoy doing or you're not as good at. So for a few people, that might be editing. So you might go out and film the content, then you've got an in-house editor that you can pass the content over. It's still going to save you so much time, and then it means that you can focus on bringing in the business and doing the fulfillment in terms of filmmaking, and then you can hand it over them to do the editing and then passing back to the client. But having that structure is really important, and something I learned at the start very quickly why it just wouldn't work when you try to scale the business. But one of the key factors to consider besides revenue is actually thinking about your workload. And I say to people, it's the same feeling as when you're working part-time or you're working in a full-time job and you're doing filmmaking on the side. You will get to a point where you feel like your job is holding you back from growing your production company or growing your filmmaking business. And that's the point where you need to make that jump, where you can't seem to respond to clients' emails quick enough, you can't handle the demand, and you feel like you're letting them down. Chances are you've got enough work there to either reduce your hours at work and do part-time, or drop those hours completely and just focus on filmmaking full time. There's no way that you can scale your business massively while working a full or part-time job, but you're able to balance the two for a little bit. And the problem here is that a lot of people will be used to taking a paycheck from their main job and a paycheck from their side hustle. So they're gonna have to take a significant pay drop where they then just focus on their production company full time. And sometimes that's enough to keep people in employment and not make that jump, but you need to make that jump as early as possible in order for it to then excel. But again, in terms of making this bigger than just you, when you're bringing someone on board, you have that exact same feeling. I was at a crossroads for ages when I started my business. Like, do I employ someone? Don't I? I didn't quite know. And employing and using a system like the RCP system, which is a retainer model, that means we have a consistent income every single month, then that enabled us to actually say, well, yeah, we know we've got the money coming in every month. We don't necessarily have that in the bank, but we have the money coming in. So let's employ someone and make that jump, because I, at the time, felt like I was letting my current clients down because I couldn't do that filming date and I couldn't do the next one because I already had work booked in. And, you know, the lead times on actually me turning around their projects and getting them over to them was, you know, a couple of weeks. It took ages to get the content back to them. They were starting to feel a little bit annoyed. They weren't coming back to me and using me as much because although they really enjoyed working with me, I just couldn't satisfy them for what those clients needed. And by bringing someone on, alleviated all of that stress and meant that I could bring more work on board because there was two of us who were able to execute the projects. But undoubtedly, if you're watching this video, then ultimately you're currently thinking about employing someone and what that might look like. And maybe you're thinking about the needs here. And one of the struggles that I still face now when it comes to employment is taking the easy option, trying to find people you already know that you can trust to bring in, or bringing in friends or something like that. And what I've learned is that that's generally not a good place to be. You should go down the long route of advertising for the job, interviewing people, and I'm actually going to give you some tips in a second of exactly what we say, how do we define the job role, where do we post it, and what are we actually looking for when we interview people, because that decision is going to impact your business and you don't want to hire someone to then just fire them. You want to try and get the right fit first time, and I'll share with you some strategies on how we've actually gone around doing that in the past. And you should really think about your business like a sports team. So you want to get the best players in your sports team in order for it to be successful. No sports team takes the easy option and just brings someone on because they already know them and thinks that it might work or it's an easy route just to fill this gap. They're going to be going through meticulously making sure they get the best person for that specific role. And equally, if they're not the right person for that role, when they get in there and then they don't perform in a sports team, then they're going to be subbed out with someone else. And that's why if you're in business and you're growing to be something bigger than just yourself, and you're taking that cap off and you're getting outside the box in terms of how much revenue you can actually generate and how far you can grow your business, then you're going to need to think like a sportsman and start to think about how would you utilize players within your team to help grow to that next stage. And like I said, well, I've already given you a tip about thinking about what it is that you're not necessarily good at or what you don't enjoy doing, and bringing someone on to fill those gaps. And that's going to strengthen your team because you're really good at this, they're really good at that. Therefore, you start to fill those gaps more and more, and it's going to make you the strongest sports team that's going to attract more clients and want people to come to you. And ultimately, we call that a skills gap. So you're looking for someone to fill the skills gap that there's currently sitting within your business. Now, of course, you might bring someone on to do administrative tasks as well. You might find yourself spending more time doing the admin stuff, the finance stuff, or whatever it may be, rather than doing the filming and editing, and that's completely fine. But for most people, in my experience, if you're growing a production company, the next person that you should probably employ is going to be an editor. If they can film and edit as well, then that's going to be a little bit easier, because ultimately it's going to help with that client workflow. And when you start to grow beyond having two people and looking at multiple people, that's when you can start to look at, maybe a social media person, maybe a finance person, maybe a salesperson, so on and so forth. So let's jump over to the computer and I'll share with you exactly how a job post looks like, where you should be posting it, how not to take the easy option, and some tips that I've used along the way to get our employees. So the first place we start is my job is, and this really helps us just define exactly what that person's going to be doing, because you might think, okay, well, I'll just get the person to do this, and they're going to be an editor and they're going to do this. But actually, from their point of view, if they're joining you, they're going to want to know that you've got your stuff together, right? They're not going to want to walk into a business that is a bit hit or miss. They're going to want to know exactly what's expected of them. This is where it needs to be really clear and concise. So my job, what is the job? You know, for instance, for you, it might be a video editor or videographer/editor. My manager is probably going to be you if you're a solopreneur at the moment and you're the only person in your business. And then my job is, and then here we just do a very quick paragraph in like, a couple of sentences, super short. What is their job? My job as a videographer and editor is to liaise with clients, to conduct shoots, create amazing content, and edit the video content in a timely manner, etc. Whatever that might be for you, just a very quick intro of what it is their job actually is. And when you read this, it should excite you as well. You should be like, yeah, that sounds like a pretty cool job, because again, that's going to be something that's just going to attract people into your business. Now, I am the videographer/editor because, and these are just generally bullet points. Why are they? Because they love testing out new ideas. They have a creative flair. They end up, I don't know, they love the latest equipment. They're always doing X, Y, Z. Why are they the videographer/editor? What attributes are you looking for them to have? And just list those in a bullet point. Again, you're looking for 5 or 6 here to really start to bring it to life. And next up, how do they spend their time? So when they're reading this, they can have an insight to how they're going to be spending their time within your business. So I spend my time researching new ideas. I spend my time looking at what the competition are doing and coming up with ideas to make it better. I spend my time looking after the camera gear. I spend my time looking at new editing techniques or learning latest trends or whatever that might be. How are they going to spend their time within your business? And finally, well, second before finally is, I know I've done a great job if. Now, this is really important because otherwise you're not measuring them on anything. And we live in, we work in a creative environment and that's very subjective. So I know I've done a great job if I produce videos with no amendments. I know I've done a great job if I deliver projects on time or under project deadlines. I know I've done a great job if the client is satisfied and gives great feedback or so on and so forth. I know I've done a great job if we win an award or whatever that might be. How do they know that they've done a great job at the end of the day, at the end of the week, or at the end of the year? And this helps you measure them as well, because if they're not doing those things, they're constantly delivering projects late, they're not doing those things that you outline here, then it's very clear that they're not the right fit for your business. And finally, the skills I use are, so I use skills that are, in Premiere Pro, I use skills that are listening and, these are a little bit more kind of broad, but think about what kind of skills do they actually need? What attributes should they have as a person in order to fit this role really well? And then we would just list those there. Once you've got this together, it makes building out your job post so much more easy. And like I've said before, don't take the easy route here and just think, oh, I know someone that could come in here, because generally it's not quite the right fit. If they haven't really, sure, you can go and headhunt and give them this information and see if they want the job. But if you don't have this stuff mapped out, then generally the fit is never quite right. It's like a jigsaw puzzle that doesn't quite fit. From my experience of witnessing this with, we've got over 350 filmmakers in our academy, and this happens quite often. Just go down the longer path and see who else is out there. Don't be scared of the unknown. So over here we have a job post. Now we post our stuff on Indeed. You might use LinkedIn. There's various platforms that you can use online to post jobs. Generally stick to 1 or 2 of these because it can get pretty crazy with the amount of applicants you get. For instance, this one had 117 people apply in total. We've only got a position for 1 job, and you go through and kind of rate them as well. Of course, there's a lot in there that isn't necessarily candidates, for instance, that are in different countries, but they need to be based in the studio, so you can dismiss them quite quick. And Indeed's quite good for actually vetting those people before it comes to you. So then we lay it out like this. So job description, we want to capture their attention. This is your sales pitch to them. Don't just assume that they want the job and everyone wants to come work for you. You should sell it. If you can create amazing content, this is what we want from you. And just a quick snapshot of like, if you enjoy doing this stuff, then this is who we are. Does that resonate with you? And if they do, they'll then continue moving forward. We also tell all applicants must include links to their work. And if they don't, that's it, they get axed straight away. Because you want to make people jump through these hoops to know that they're serious. Indeed and various job applications just work like an app basis. I'll apply, 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 apply. No, you want them to apply because they want to work for you. So make them send you a proper CV and links to their work as well. And again, just like the stuff that we've gone through as well, so you'll see here, we've got what will you be doing? You'll be creating content with our amazing clients, attending film shoots, editing promotional videos, those kind of things. Must-haves for us, you really needed to have a driving license, you need to have a video and editing background as well, and experience in dealing with clients because we wanted them to do a bit of an account management as well. There are must-haves, and then also what can you expect for us? Again, this is a sales pitch. There's going to be so many people employing, so what makes you different? Well, from us, you can expect team events. You can use the studio for free. One of our guys just actually did a family photo shoot at the weekend. That's completely fine. You've got the equipment. That's one of the perks of the jobs. We also do all of these training days, etc., etc. So really try and sell it. Then some information about the position. Is it full-time, part-time? What are the usual hours? What's the pay looking like? And you can just list that through the job description. Put that out, publish it, get it live, and see who comes through. You don't have to hire someone. And if there's one thing you should take away from this video, it's hire slow, fire fast. If you get someone who's not the right fit in your business, you need to get them out because that becomes really toxic. And that's obvious to see when you've got people already working in your business. You don't want to rub anyone up the wrong way if they're all working really well. So hire slow, spend your time finding the right person, seeing who's out there. You'll know when that right person comes across, and then have an interview with them. Normally we do the first interview over Zoom, just informal, get to know them, ask them questions, tell them about the job. Then if we like them, bring them into the studio, more formal presentation. And we really want to understand their character. Are they trustworthy? How do they handle difficult situations? Do they really love filming? How long does it take them roughly to edit a video? Just throw those questions at them and you'll know when you've got the right fit for your business. If you are struggling to make a monthly recurring revenue at the moment, so you don't always have that money available every single month, then I'll put a link in the description to our free training event that describes exactly how to do that as part of the Perspective Academy. And in the meantime, if you are just starting out and trying to make that jump to full-time filmmaker, then click this video right here. It's got loads of valuable information that you'll be able to take home with you as well. Until next time, peace.